Ever clicked a button on an app or website and, like, wondered why it doesn't just completely break when you accidentally type in the wrong thing?
Yeah, happens all the time.
Well, today we're diving into the world of software testing
Oh, yeah.
to explore how these digital tools we use every day are made so reliable.
It's really fascinating stuff.
Basically, we're on a mission to clarify the difference between positive and negative testing.
Two super important concepts.
And, understanding this gives you a real appreciation for the work that goes on behind the scenes.
Absolutely. It's like way more than people realize.
So let's kick things off with positive testing.
Okay, so positive testing is all about making sure that the software does what it's supposed to do when you use it the right way.
Right, so like when everything goes according to plan.
Exactly. It's like if you have a button that's supposed to save a file, positive testing makes sure that when you click that button, the file actually gets saved.
Makes sense. So could you give us an example of how that would work in practice?
Sure. Let's say you have a simple sign-up form, right? And there's a box that asks for your age.
Okay.
And let's say that the system is designed to only accept numbers up to 99.
Right.
With positive testing, you would enter valid ages like 25 or 50 or even 99.
Oh, I see.
And you would check to make sure that the system accepts those inputs and processes them correctly.
So it's really about confirming that the software is doing its core function.
Exactly. Like, does it do what it's supposed to do with the right information?
Got it. So positive testing is about making sure the software works as expected. But what about when things don't go according to plan? That's where negative testing comes in, right?
Exactly. Negative testing is all about deliberately trying to break the software, in a way.
Break it.
Well, not literally break it, but you're trying to see what happens when you use it in ways that it's not intended to be used.
Oh, okay.
So instead of giving the software valid inputs, you give it invalid or unexpected inputs.
I see.
Like what happens if you enter a letter instead of a number in that age field?
Right.
Or what if you leave the field blank? Does the software crash?
So it's about seeing how the software responds to unexpected or even incorrect information.
Exactly. It's about making sure that the software can handle errors gracefully.
And why is that so important?
Well, think about it. In the real world, people make mistakes.
True.
People will enter the wrong information, they'll click the wrong buttons, they'll do all sorts of unexpected things.
I definitely will.
And if the software isn't prepared for that, it can lead to all sorts of problems.
Yeah.
Crashes, data loss, you name it.
So negative testing is a way to prevent those problems.
Exactly. It's about making sure the software is robust and reliable.
Okay. So we've got positive testing, making sure the software does what it should, and negative testing, making sure it can handle what it shouldn't.
Yeah. Those are the two main types.
Now, when testers are actually doing this, are there any key things they're looking for?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So for both positive and negative testing, you're always looking at three things: the input, the action, and the output.
Okay, so what you put in, what the software does with it, and what you expect to see.
Exactly. You got to be systematic.
Makes sense. So it's not just about randomly trying things.
No, it's a very structured process. Now, there are also specific techniques that testers use to make sure they're covering all their bases.
Right, like those mentioned in the research. One is called boundary value analysis. What's that all about?
Okay, so boundary value analysis, that's all about testing the edges of what's acceptable.
Okay, so pushing the limits.
Exactly. So let's go back to that age range example.
Okay, the 0 to 99.
Right. So with boundary value analysis, for positive testing, you would check 0, 1, 98, and 99.
The boundaries of the acceptable range.
Exactly. You're testing the limits and just inside them.
Makes sense.
And for negative testing, you would look at -1 and 100.
Just outside the valid range?
Right. Because often, that's where errors pop up.
At those boundaries, I see. And the other technique mentioned is equivalence partitioning.
Oh, yeah. This one's a bit more conceptual.
It does sound kind of abstract.
It is. But it's all about efficiency,
Okay.
Like imagine you have a ton of mail to sort through.
Yeah.
You don't want to open every single piece of junk mail, right?
Definitely not.
You can probably just look at a few pieces and be like, okay, all of this is junk.
Right.
And then you can just toss it all out.
So equivalence partitioning is like that.
Yeah, kind of. You divide all the possible inputs into groups that you expect the software to treat the same way.
Oh, okay.
And then you just test one value from each group.
So you're sampling from those groups.
Exactly. So with our age example, you might have one partition for valid ages from 0 to 99,
Okay.
and another partition for invalid ages, like anything outside of that range.
Got it.
And then you would just pick one test case from each partition, like 50 for valid age and -5 for an invalid age.
And you're assuming that if those work, the others in their group will work too. And
Exactly.
if they don't, the others probably won't either.
Right. So it's all about being smart about your testing,
Right.
covering as much ground as possible without having to test absolutely everything.
Got it. So we've got our positive and negative testing, and we've got these different techniques for making sure we're testing thoroughly.
Yeah, it all comes together to build robust software.
And in the end, both are really important.
Absolutely. You need both.
Because you can't just assume everyone's going to use the software perfectly.
Exactly.
So to wrap things up, just to be clear, positive testing is about confirming that the software works as expected, the happy path, so to speak.
Yeah.
And negative testing is about preparing for the unexpected, making sure it can handle those detours and wrong turns.
Precisely.
So next time you're using an app or website, remember that behind the scenes, testers have probably tried all sorts of crazy things,
Oh, yeah.
both right and wrong, to make sure your experience is seamless.
It's really about thinking of every possible way a user might interact with the system.
Which is a lot to consider.
Yeah, definitely. It makes you wonder what kind of unexpected input you might try if you were testing it.
Right. It's like a whole other way of looking at things.
For sure. It's quite
It
interesting.
really is. Well, on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us. Until next time.